Thank you. Hi, Emmy. When I see my granddaughter Amelia graduating today, I'm like all of the parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins here today. I'm brimming with love. You kids have no idea how much we love you. We love you for just your being you. You're the buds of spring to us. You remind us of how we were at your age, still tasting the world for the first time. It was a squishy grape that burst in our mouths, and we never had tasted anything like that before. And better than that, no one else had ever tasted anything like that before. And we see that in you, and it gives us an extra pleasure. And one of the pleasures that we know you'll have, because you'll have a universe of pleasures ahead of you to taste, and one of them may be someday seeing your own children and feeling your own heart swell with love for them the way ours does for you, and that gives us pleasure too. This is a big moment for all of us. This is a time when we're going through a ritual now, this moment, where we're celebrating and noticing that you're moving on to greater maturity. And the funny thing about that is that at a moment like this, people our age always want to give people your age advice. And you don't do that. I don't think at your age you do that. If a friend of yours suddenly gets a free trip to Alaska, you don't say, yes, well, take your long underwear and bring your overcoat. You say, OMG or something, Even though we figured it out for ourselves, we think we have to clue you in on the idea that it gets cold outside. But you have to forgive us. That's just our way of telling you we love you. We think the best gift we can give you is to tell you what we've learned, even though the years you've spent with us make it hard to believe that we've ever learned anything at all. I want to tell Emmy so many things today, but I don't want to tell her big, grand things. I want to tell her practical things that will preserve her well-being, like spray your nose with saline every day and you'll never get a cold. Whenever you fly on a plane, take an aspirin so you don't have a stroke. When you cross a one-way street, look both ways or you're liable to get killed by a guy on a bicycle delivering pizza. See, you'll notice these are not only practical, they're also panicky. But you're supposed to say big things at a graduation, not just practical. They can't just be practical. They have to be inspiring too. So brace yourself, Emmy. Here goes. Here comes 3 pieces of big advice. The first one has to do with youth and old age and how I think they should both be the same thing. For instance, in old age, you're supposed to attain wisdom. But you really need it when you're young, when you have the energy to do really stupid things. And when you're old, you still want to do the stupid things, but you're too tired. You'd rather lie down and rest. So try to arrange to have wisdom now. Oldness, on the other hand, should be avoided at any age. When you're young, you have curiosity, you experience endeavor, candor, skepticism. You have optimism. Hang on to that optimism. Most of all, don't lose your innocence. There was a director called Elia Kazan, very famous director, a stage and movie director, who said that he always tried to work with actors before they got slick, before they started to look like actors. He wanted them to look like real people. And that really works for us too. Don't get slick. Slick is a kind of smug. It's thinking you have it all figured out and thinking it's all about you. It's like admiring yourself in a shop window and not even noticing that inside the store the sale of the century is going on. There's more happening than your reflection. Keep being brave. Keep challenging ideas. Most of all, keep learning. Not because learning is good for you like broccoli, but because learning is probably the only thing you can get high on that actually does you good. Okay, now the second piece of big advice I have is also a little related to old age, and it's a piece of advice I heard when I was in my first year of college. So I was pretty much about the same age you are now. We had a French teacher who said, you should begin preparing for your old age right now. And that means for you right this minute. He said, what you should do to make your old age a pleasure. Wait, there's wounded coming in. Wait a minute. Somebody else will take care of them. It's all right. But boy, it's taking a long time. Is that a plane or? It's a plane. It seemed like a big bug. So what you should do, he said, to get ready for your old age is learn the pleasures of fine music and good books. Not just music that's easy to listen to or books that are comfortable to read, but the ones that take trouble to decode and that are worth the experience because of how much pleasure they'll give you when you unlock them. And I followed that advice. I don't know what made me do it, because it didn't seem that important to me at the time, but I followed it. And in fact, my life has been richer for it. And I found many more squishy grapes in my life because of that advice. There was always something new and unexpected and pleasurable to experience that I had never experienced before. But the thing is, as you head off for college now, or whatever the next step of your life is going to be, you're probably thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And that's where the third piece of big advice comes in. All over America this week, for the past couple of weeks, people like me have been standing up in front of dazed graduates, shoveling out homilies and cliches to them. And one of the most common is have a dream. And I'd like to deconstruct that idea for a couple of minutes. It's not that it's bad advice, it's good advice, but it's much more complicated than that. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think I figured something out. If all you have is a dream, then you're in trouble. You know, Martin Luther had a dream, but he worked at it. And it wasn't just a dream for him, it was a dream that would elevate the lives of other people. And those are two, I think, really important things. Without the crucial ingredients of devotion to it and working with other people and for other people, it's just a dream, and it stays a dream. Just last week I saw a documentary that really made an impression on me because I was thinking about this then. And I think I saw this in the documentary. It was a writer from California traveling to Russia. And he met this guy there who was driving him around in a car. And before the guy had been a driver, he had been in the army for a long time. But when he was a boy, he had wanted to study seashells. He loved seashells. They were a passion for him. And he wanted to devote his life to them. But he didn't. He drifted off into the army, and then he became a driver. And he said when he goes to museums, he heads right for the seashell collection with a sense of longing for the seashells. But then this really interested me. At the end of the movie, the writer gives the driver a gift, and he gives him a big, beautiful seashell. And the driver looks at it for a long time, and he says this amazing thing. It took my breath away. He says, yeah, I'll cut it up and I'll make a lamp out of it. And I thought, what happened to the wonder, the joy at having a seashell in its native state? It's as though he lost touch with his own dream. All he was left with was a dream of a dream. So I think I figured something out about this. If all you have is a dream, then I think you're in trouble. There are two things here. One is you got to have a dream. I think that's true. I think it'll save your life. But the other is you got to keep working on it. If you don't work on it, then it's just a badge you wear, and it doesn't really have any meaning. You're a writer, you say, but you don't write. You're a rock musician, you say, but you don't practice. Nothing happens. It's just a dream. See, the trouble with this is, I mean, I'm talking about sticking with the dream, but the trouble with that is life can be messy. And sometimes a dream comes over you that is not really one worth sticking with. I mean, you can just pick up an idea in a casual way, and it may be a wrong turn. It's not that easy to find the dream sometimes. I'll make a confession to you. When I was 8 years old, I had a dream, and that was to be a writer. And then later in life, when I was 9, I wanted to be an actor. And I've stuck with those dreams. But then when I was 12, this thing came over me, this casual idea. I knew somewhere, somehow, someday, I would own a cream puff factory. I liked cream puffs, you know. But I think of that now, and I cringe at the thought that my life could have become an endless treadmill of cream puffs. But I didn't stick with it. I stuck with the things that I cared about. But sometimes life is messy. Sometimes you really do have to change. You have to figure out a new seashell for yourself. You might lose your job, or your career could become phased out in the entire culture. Or you or somebody you love could be going through a crisis, and that has to become your seashell. You never know how things are going to change. But whatever it is, whenever it comes over you, when you know it's you, at least for that time in your life, devote yourself to it. But do it the way Martin Luther King did. Do it for other people too, with other people. It's very important. I believe it's very important. So why am I bringing up other people when I'm talking about your dream? I think a solitary dream is not only less fun, it'll be less successful. A dream that benefits other people will get them to work with you. And if it benefits them, it'll make you feel better. You'll actually feel that your life has more meaning, I think. And at least that's been true for me in my life. You have to find a way to dream together with other people and shore one another up when the dream starts to falter. I hope you can find what I found in my life, which is the pleasure of learning how to be useful. When I think of all the many things I've done in my life, and I've really had many dreams that I've acted on and devoted myself to, they all could boil down, the ones that really counted, to being useful to other people in some way. Find out how you have some special thing that can help other people make progress in what they're doing. Good progress, things that count. There's no pleasure like it. At least that's what I found. But look, you know, I know most of the advice that you're hearing today or that any of us give you from our vantage point, you're going to find out for yourself. And you probably already have found it out for yourselves. Every generation I see that comes along is a little smarter, a little more hip than the one before. So excuse me for telling you the obvious, but that's what we do at times like this. We're supposed to get up here and tell you obvious things. The other thing we do is we all try to look into the future and hope for the best. Can't do it. You'll accomplish things I'll never see. I won't be around. When you're my age, I won't be here and I won't see it. You'll go places I'll never go to. You'll experience things I won't know about. You're on a trajectory that I'll never see. I don't know where you'll go, but I hope you go there with courage and a lightness of spirit. And don't forget to bring your long underwear and take your overcoat. In other words, always remember that all of you are loved very much.